Alright, greetings everybody, it is I, Umber Rays, returned from the weekend having done some stuff and cool things that hopefully I can show off on camera as soon as my new camera gets here. But for now, old camera is dead and I am still off camera, but let's talk about some JP and global news! Alright, so JP this week has been pretty quiet and will continue to be quiet. Right now, basically, Rizal is available on JP for people to pull, and for some people that's pretty exciting. For me, I'm kind of still indifferent about her, although I do think that she is an overall strong character. Now, for this week on JP, it's mostly going to be a brand new vision card, but it will also be the FF7 Intergrade event. Now, this feels pretty late into the event already, since it feels like FF7 came out a while ago and is already feels fairly close to ending with only a couple of weeks left, it feels like. But we still have an Intergrade event, and as you can see, the main item is going to be Yuffie's Moogle Cloak, which is a very cute item, and I'm glad it's being added to the game. Now, I assume that this will not be much of a Sephiroth booster, but I do assume that it will be a pretty good Yuffie booster. And between the two of them, Sephiroth is just more widely used, although I have to admit JP Arena this week is more fire teams than we've seen in the last year combined almost. This feels like a lot of fire elemental teams, which is kind of cool because fire has just not been anywhere. So it's great to see that Yuffie has revived the element a little bit. What we'll be curious is to see is how good of an item this is for Yuffie, how good it is for evasion characters, and whether or not it will have any boosts for Sephiroth. Just because Sephiroth in a Moogle Cloak, who could ask for anything more? But scrolling down, bonus units, the major bonus unit is Tifa with a large list of characters that are able to be used for large bonuses, but Tifa is the big one. So if you already have your Tifa up to 120, great news for you, and just Yuffie, Sephiroth, you just throw whichever characters you want in at this point. There's a lot of good options and quite a few bonus options for vision cards too, which is pretty great, including a fair number of collaboration cards in there, giving a lot of bonuses. So yeah, I think that this should be a fairly easy bonus and event to do. But yeah, that's more news probably on Wednesday for JP, with the update coming on Friday, and we'll have more previews of that when it happens. Excuse me. But today, we're also here to talk about global news, and what else could be said about global news other than Mama Helena. Mama Helena is coming, finally. Her summer unit in the dead of almost of winter is here on global, and I'm sure that there are quite a few number of globalers who are excited. And of course, with this summer unit also comes a cloudy, a gray cloud, which is of course a 90 cost VC, which 90 cost VCs, your luck will vary depending on whether or not you are able to get this damn VC. Some people say these are the easiest things to get. Never been my experience, but okay, so people have their own opinions. Is this worth it, is the question. Well, before we get to that, before I do my recommendations, just a quick look. Global is marching towards 1,000 days of Wotv, so congratulations on crossing the 4-digit barrier. There will also be the 2 Bloom on the Battlefield event, which focuses on a younger Helena and a younger Old in a younger world kind of thing, which, is totally fine. I'm hoping that this will be eventually lead to some new characters, but for now, mostly just a side event to get side eventy stuff, and that's about it. 1,000 Days of Wotv celebration and countdown. Hooray! Moving on. And background repeat looks like, as well as some 6-star equipment. Background repeat, probably just one of the greatest updates to this game since its inception, and has done a lot to keep a lot of JP players, including myself, actually playing the game, since this finally gets you a little bit more away from it. But, okay, let's talk Is Summer Helena worth it? Well, first thing I note is that she is limited, but as far as I can see, it doesn't seem like this is limited, and it should not be. And here's the thing. Helena is a fantastic character. Absolutely, seriously, a fantastically strong character. We know this. She's been out on JP for long enough that there's plenty of data out there. Unfortunately, for the sake of recording on this video, I couldn't find one either in Guild Wars this evening, even sloughing into the wrong party for me to be fighting. And as for Arena this week, well, there are a lot of fire-based teams and there are some lightning-based teams, but nothing really on the magical side, which kind of is just a big old, well, whatever kind of thing. Sometimes you just lose out, but hey, look at all the fire elemental teams. That's something different. Be a really good time to be a water player. But Helena is a very, very strong unit, and part of what makes her so strong is into the element that she currently operates, which is the lightning element, you know. And on JP, she was even on a tournament winning team, which is pretty high praise for a recommended character for PvP. Like, right now, in combination with Skahal, you're looking at two very good mage characters in the same element that are very synergistic with each other. Skahal, which is essentially the biggest brick wall the game has possibly ever seen, as his upgraded support skill now effectively gives him like immortal like guts. I mean, like, he also has a pretty amazing counter ability that just allows him to like derp like just preemptive attack and reduce damage off of opponents, but then he also is able to survive large amounts of damage by a guts effect that is not dispellable so long as his HP is up. And since Thunder just happens to have like one of the best and slightly lower cost mages in the entire game, yeah, it's a hell of a combination. Our girl here just having heat down on quite a bit of her kit focuses a lot of attention towards Skahal and also excuse me, Helena. And both of those characters work in, like, all three of these characters together make kind of just a little bit of a perfect team, where your healer is not being overly targeted, which means that she can hide in the back and just heal every time that this character gets even remotely close to dead. She has access to so many heals, it keeps them alive. And in the meantime, all of the Thunder Vision cards that power up these characters are so synergistic that it is great. Even going and checking out like the overall strongest character ranking on multiple JP things does put Swimsuit Helena into a, you know, fairly incredibly high tier. But Resnick and Skahal are considered to be even higher. So here's the thing. Is Mama Helena worth a pull? If you're a fan of the unit or a fan of the character and you just like beach units, there's no reason not to. She's a great character. Her kit is very strong. She has a lot of stuff that makes her very powerful. And, you know, she's just a great character. There isn't too much else to be said about that. But if you really, really, really want to get the most value out of her, you're kind of looking at a team of 3 characters, including, of course, our healer here, Resnick, and last but not least, Skahal, which is just kind of the linchpin. If there was a character that was really going to make her work even better, even more consistently across multiple different things, it's a combination of these 3. So yes, my recommendation is very much, if you have already Skahal up to 120, if you have Resnick up to 120, probably just one of the best gets you can get in the entire game. However, there is going to be a secondary expense that comes with this character. Whether you're waiting long term which, just a heads up, JP really didn't get any selectors on Anniversary, which made it much more difficult to get 90 cost VCs. And with Swimsuit Helena comes a 90 cost VC, and a pretty big one for the Thunder Element and Thunder Mages. I mean, this 90 cost VC has pretty crazy stats on it, like 462 HP, 4 defense, 3 spirit, 184 magic, and 40 dexterity. None of that is like particularly low. Also gives missile resistance and spirit penetration to the specific unit that it's equipped on, provided that, you know, it's wind or thunder. And you can also equip on, like, you also get just a 50% magic boost, you're getting slash resistance, and you're getting earth resistance for maxing the card out. It's a hell of a vision card, and pretty important one if you are like a thunder or wind, you know, magic aficionado. This vision card is just super important. And then you top it on to just the best mage summon in the entire game with incredibly high speed and really great magic, even, you know, kind of decent attack and HP. This is a really crazy good summon to go along with a really great vision card. So all of this together works out to being pretty expensive. And honestly, with another global exclusive looming in the near future, it's hard to say that that won't potentially also be effective at dealing with this Thunder thing, because JP didn't exactly explode with this combo, despite it being how strong it is and how highly rated it is and how backbreaking it can be for the opponent. All of that stuff never really affected JP to be like, after the initial months, for it being a consistent thing. Like Arena right now is just very different, and we don't see this combination too much, but it's still ranked incredibly powerful. It's so difficult to say whether or not this is like a must pull, because you need to meet certain conditions to make this character and overall a game-winning combo really take off. Fantastic, really great unit that fits incredibly well into a very high power combination. But if you look at getting 100 limited, or a limited unit on global with all of her shards, everything up to full 120, that probably won't see the her reincarnation for a good amount of time, as well as needing to pull a 90 cost VC, all of this might be just a little too much for most people to invest in, which could keep the people who do invest this into a sweet spot. I'm really just two minds about this. My one mind says, this is a great combination, this is a fantastic thing, you should go for this, build it, and just screw every opponent that you fight over the next little while out of potentially being able to do anything against this combination of characters. But at the same time, it's just not omnipresent in JP and Guild Wars or anything else. Despite, you know, where Earth is, despite where Wind and its competitors are, despite the fact that it is a solid proven composition, it's just not omnipresent on JP, which means it does also have counters. So just want to make it very clear that I don't think that this is the be all end all of everything in this game. And that, you know, if you do skip this, I mean, you're not unreasonable, especially when another global exclusive is coming out and it could be Earth Element. There's no reason that Shadow Links couldn't be Earth, or some weird element that just kind of puts a little bit of a screw job on Wind or Thunder or whatever they feel needs a bit of adjusting, or whatever future JP unit has. So many things to think about. I'll let you take the information that I've given you in this video and decide whether or not it is truly worth investing. One final piece of thought, though, is that JP on its 3rd anniversary did not get any selector banners whatsoever. No selector tickets, no selector banners for vision cards or units, just some reroll banners, which means that the proposition of getting this vision card is possible on some of these, but definitely not a certainty. I think they might have responded to the whole people getting like Chaos Odin and whatnot as just their selector thing, and they're just making that more difficult. So I'll leave you with all this information and let you tell me in the comments below whether or not you'll go for the beach unit. Thanks so much for watching. Take care and see you next time.